Hello everybody, welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and today's class is part of my series called Around the World in 80 Days, where we basically travel around the world reading and learning about some different places. And today's topic is actually really small countries. One of my students sent me a link to a website about a place called the Principality of Sealand, which was kind of fascinating, and it gave me the idea of just having a class about these really small countries that you can actually find if you look really hard. So thanks to the student who sent me that link. We did try and have this class last week, but it was we had technical difficulties, so I've rescheduled to today. And if you'd like to join us, then do come along in. The class is open and I'm looking forward to seeing you. While we wait for our students to come on in, I'll let you know about the pages that I usually like to tell you about at the beginning of class. So the first page that you're going to see there in the chat box is a link to my Verbling teacher Facebook page. And if you head to that, you can follow me as a Verbling teacher. You can also follow the other Verbling teachers on Facebook, and it's a really good way of keeping in touch with your English studying and learning during your week, especially every time you log on to Facebook. If you're a bit of a Facebook addict, then it will keep reminding you that you need to be studying. So it's a good way of keeping on track. You can also communicate easily via Facebook in all the normal Facebook ways. So it's a great thing to do if you like Facebook and you're into that kind of thing. And if you do want a little bit more information about any of the teachers, then the best place to go is to their Verbling teacher page, and the link to mine is there in the chat box as well. What you will find on those pages is some information about the teacher, who they are, how long they've been teaching, where they're from, all that kind of thing. You can watch some sample videos from their classes or their introduction video, and you can see our tutoring timetable. If you're interested in one-on-one private tutoring session, then you can see the timetables from the Verbling teacher page, and you can book a slot. You can also see upcoming classes and join those if you don't want to miss out. And last but not least, you can actually write us a message. If you've got some questions about anything, then do get in touch via the messaging feature. So, in your spare moments, have a look at those pages if you haven't looked at them before. And we're going to say hi and see who we've got. So first of all, Amma, hello, how are you? I'm wondering if you're there, hopefully.
Hello, Amy. How are you? Hello, how are you?
Hello, I can hear you. That's great. I'm fine, thank you, Amma. How are you doing? What's up in your life? Any news?
I'm doing well. Actually, we are celebrating the Adha in Egypt, and we have 4 days off.
Excellent, a holiday.
How about you?
Well, I'm not having a holiday, Amma, but we've had an exciting weekend here in Auckland. On Saturday night, there was a huge explosion in one of our power stations, which cut the electricity to maybe about half the city. So we've had an electricity cut, and it's been very exciting and slightly annoying, but it all seems to be back on track now, which is kind of a relief. So not exactly a holiday, but something interesting, you could say.
Congratulations.
Yes, we are all relieved, I have to say. I've been out for every meal because we haven't really been able to cook, and it's been a bit of a pain. It kind of makes you realize how reliant you are on electricity. We have a really reliable system usually, but we did have a bit of a blip. So, well, enjoy your holiday, Amma, and I'm glad to see that you are studying during your time off.
Thanks a lot.
All right, well, welcome to the class. Jose Fernando, hello. You can only listen because you have problems with your computer. Okay, that's what he's telling me in the chat box. All right, Jose, that's a shame because it would have been nice to talk to you. I can see a couple of other students are coming in and out. I wonder if there's problems. Did you have any problems coming into the class, Amma? Or was everything fine?
No problem. It's okay. Everything is okay.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see if any of the other students are able to join us. I know that a few more slots than 2 were booked, so let's hope that the other students are able to come in. Jose, you can listen, and hopefully me and Amma and any other students who arrive will entertain you. So, Emma, we're going to get started with some reading, if you don't mind. We're actually going to look at a place called the Principality of Sealand today. And the first thing that we're going to read is just a little kind of excerpt from Wikipedia. So I'm going to paste it into a document, and then I'm just going to ask you if you wouldn't mind reading it for us while we wait for some more students to come in. Guys, don't forget that this is a reading class mainly, so if you want to practice your pronunciation, this is the place to be. We'll also hopefully learn a little bit more vocab today, and at the moment Emma's going to have a really intensive class, so that's great for you, Emma. Alright, I'm going to share that. Are you able to see that?
Yes, exactly. I can see it very well.
You can or you can't see it very well?
I can see it. Can you make it bigger? Yeah.
Sure. Let me see if I can get it any bigger.
Okay.
How about that? Is that better?
A little bit. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
Alright, Emma, if you could go ahead and read, we'll get rid of these numbers. Off you go when you're ready, please.
Okay. The Principality of Sealand is a micronation located in the North Sea. Its mass consists of what was HM4 Ross, a former Second World War Monsel sea foam, off the coast of Suffolk, England, United Kingdom. While it has been described as the world's smallest country or the world's smallest nation, Sealand is not recognized by any established sovereign state. Also, Sealand's government claims it has been de facto recognized by the United Kingdom and Germany. See below. Since 1967, the facility has been occupied by family and associated of Paddy Roy Pates, who claim that it's an independent sovereign state. Pates sized it, uh, it from a group of pirate radio broadcasters in 1966 with the intention of setting up his own station at the site. He attempted to establish Sealand as a nation-state in 1975 with the writing of a national constitution and establishment of other national symbols. Bates moved to mainland Essex when he became elderly, naming his son Michael Regent. Bates died in October 2012 at the age of 91.
Emma, that was great reading, thank you. There was a
No.
couple of tricky words I just want to go over. So this one here, we're going to come across again, I think. This is sovereign.
Sovereign.
Perfect. And the other one was this one here, seized.
Seized.
Very nice. Well done. Thank you for reading that for us. All right. I'm just going to say, get rid of that. We've read a little bit of an introduction. I'm going to say hi to Raphael. How are you doing, Raphael?
Hi, Amy. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. And you?
I'm great. Raphael was actually the one who sent me the link to this, so thanks for that, Raphael. It's an interesting little place. Did you have a read about it before you sent me the link?
Yes, I've read. I haven't known this tiny country would exist, and I found several documentaries on the internet about this before, and I found it interesting.
Definitely. I had no idea that it existed either. And apparently it was actually really near where I grew
Really?
up because, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's off the coast of the... Basically, East Anglia is relatively near Essex. It's on sort of the east coast, and the North Sea is on the east coast, off the east coast, should I say. Yeah, and this is where the Principality of Sealand is, but I'd never heard of it before, so kind of strange. And we're going to have a look at the website. So I'll give you guys the website so that you can load it up in your own windows, but we will do a screen share. It's got its own website, which is pretty cool looking, and it just gave me the idea of, well, firstly talking about this particular place, but also about really, really small countries, because there are a few of them around, which we're going to read about a little bit more later on. So take a look at this website, guys. And we're actually going to click on this one here, which is the history, because I think the history is the kind of interesting bit. How did this place come about? So I'm going to just zoom in so that we can read it, and hopefully you can see that okay. All right, Raphael, could you read a little bit for us, please, from the history?
The history. During the Second World War, the British government built several fortress islands in the North Sea to defend its coast from German invaders. These forts were built illegally by international waters. One of these fortresses, consisting of concrete and steel construction, was the famous Royal Fort Rosstor, situated slightly north of the estuary region of the Thames River. In contrast to the original plan to locate the tower within the sovereign territory of England, this fortress was situated at a distance of approximately 7 nautical miles from the coast, which is more than double the then applicable 3-mile range of territorial waters. To put it briefly, this island was situated in the international waters of the North Sea. The forts were abandoned in the early 1950s, and whilst built in international waters, gold crisis, they should have been pulled down to comply with international, except for the aforementioned fortress. The fortresses were subsequently pulled down. This resulted in a portentous uniqueness of the fortress. Fort Worth Tower, situated at the high seas, had been deserted and abandoned. Res delicta and terra nullius. From a legal point of view, it therefore constituted extra-national territory.
Thank you very much, Raphael. All right, great reading. Let's just go over a couple of ones, just because of the intonation or a little bit I can help you with. So, this word here is pronounced illegally. Illegally. Yeah. We put quite a heavy emphasis on this ill because it sounds very similar to the word legally if you're speaking quickly. And obviously it means the complete opposite. So just as a note, this one has the emphasis on the first syllable, Raphael, so it's concrete.
Concrete.
Yeah. And last but not least, if I can find it, there we go. This one, if you want to pronounce this in a really, really natural sounding way, you'd pronounce it territory.
Territory.
Yeah. So there are several words in English. Another one that I remember that kind of often gets mispronounced is literature. So you can pronounce them literature and territory, but no native speaker will pronounce them like that because we squish them in together. So if you want to, these are sort of like points that you can work on when you get to really, really high English level standard, which you're at, Raphael. So literature and territory are sort of two of those examples that we squish all of our syllables together. And okay, with the US accent, not so much, but with British, definitely. Okay, do we understand what we're reading? Amma, did you understand everything?
Yes, exactly. I can understand almost 80% of it.
All right. Do you have any questions about particular vocabulary?
Actually, what the story region of the seems Times River. Sorry, the third
this word here,
line.
estuary.
Yeah, estuary.
Ah, do you know what an estuary is, Raphael?
No, no.
Okay, so this is a new word for both of you. Basically, an estuary is where a river meets the sea. So where a river opens and joins with the sea or the ocean is called an estuary. So depending on the size of the river, there can be quite a few interesting things if you're interested in that kind of stuff, to do with like tides and the river flowing different ways and the mixture of salty and fresh water. So that's what it's talking about. Where the Thames River comes out into the sea is near where this place was first built. Are there any other words, Amma?
No, thanks.
Alright, so the history of this place is kind of funny because it's actually illegal. It's too far away from the British coast to actually be allowed to be part of Britain, and it's built illegally in international waters. Pretty impressive. If we're talking about really tiny places, guys, do you have any tiny places that are in any way linked to your countries that you know about? So, Amma, you're in Egypt, right? And Raphael is in Brazil. Do you guys know of anywhere, islands or tiny little places in your own countries?
Yes, exactly. I live in the north of Egypt, and we have a little bay in the north, or something like an island. Yeah.
And what's the name of it, Amma?
Actually, I live in the north of Egypt. It's called Ras Al Bar.
Have you been there?
Yes, I have been there. I live near it about uh, 20 minutes or less.
Okay, and what's it like? Can you describe it for us, Amma? Is it a nice place to visit? Why would you go there? For what reason?
Yes, actually, I live in the same city, and it's near me, and it's about 15 minutes by car or something like that. It's
Uh-huh.
north, it's north of Egypt. It's a city called Damietta, and it has a summer holiday, or some people can visit it for stay the summer and enjoy the beaches or something like that. And it's the end of the river the river Nile, and it's surrounded by the the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the river Nile in the east side, and it has different kind of beaches, and it's really nice.
Oh wow! So it actually sounds like a very cool place, I have to say.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I'm gonna have to put that on my list of places to visit. How about you, Raphael? I know that there are, well, Brazil's huge, but are you aware of any strange little islands or places that are related to Brazil?
Yes, actually, I've not me, but some friends have visited one already. It's called Trindade Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's located around 1,100 kilometers from our coast. It, and there is a it's a very beautiful island. They have a incredible fauna there and lots of animal species uh,
Yeah.
which they protect, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very beautiful.
I'm sure that, yeah, is it, you said it was an island, Raphael?
Yes,
And whereabouts, in which part of, is it in the, which ocean? I'm guessing Atlantic, right? My geography is shocking.
yes, it's in the Atlantic. I'm trying to to share my screen here.
Okay. Or if you could just type the name of the place. See, I've got Ras El Bar. I'm sorry, Amma. I'm probably pronouncing that horribly wrong. But you can see the one that Amma was just talking about, and I will look up yours in a sec too, Raphael. It looks beautiful, Amma. Really nice. I'm guessing it's quite busy. It seems like it's quite well developed. And
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's summer season, and it's a famous place to stay the summer. And it has a house.
yeah.
As you can see here, it has a lot of different places, and you know the house light, the one in the middle,
The
the second.
lighthouse. Yeah,
Yes, the
this one here.
lighthouse. Yes, exactly. Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, yeah. It's a famous place in Ras Al Bar,
Hmm?
and there are different kind of houses, as you can see in the third line,
Yeah.
and the beaches here. Yeah, yeah, it's amazing, and a big flat of exactly, yes, yeah, exactly, lighthouse. Yeah. And the big fleet of ships here
Uh-huh.
in this time. Yeah, yeah, and the sunset,
The
really
sunset
amazing
looks
beach.
so
Yeah,
romantic. It looks like a good place for a
yeah,
honeymoon, possibly, Amma.
yes, yes, exactly.
All
Yeah,
right. Thank
and
you. Mhm.
you're welcome. Okay, that's okay. Yeah,
Um,
don't worry.
yeah, I was just going to say it looks quite busy. It looks very popular. And do people
Yeah,
actually live here? Are these houses where people live?
yeah. Actually, most people live in the second city called Amirta, and this is a summer season. People
Yeah.
go to Ras Al Bar in summer season to stay and enjoy the summer and the beaches and a lot of stuff there. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Here the old photo for women's here in Ras Al Bar
Is
here, as
that...
you can see here. Yes, exactly. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was in the 40s or something
Yeah.
like that.
Pretty cool that
Yeah.
photo, I have to say. All right, thank you, Emma. We'll
Yes,
have a look at
yes.
at Raphael's place now. If I just give you his screen, Raphael, can you show us a bit?
Yes, I'm trying to find some pictures here of the island.
Wow, it looks dramatic, actually.
Yes, it's not a big island, but as I mentioned, there's lots of species of animals there, and I found right now that they protect several species of turtles. So there
Okay.
are there's a very lots of turtle species I think they protect there.
Mhm. Wow, turtles are amazing creatures. I've always thought that just I don't know. There's something special about turtles. Um,
Really, what?
I don't know why I like them so much. It's just a little bit strange, but they're pretty. I just think they're so beautiful. So maybe I have to go to that place, Raphael. Is it expensive to get there?
I'm not really sure because my friends are from Navy, so they when they go there, it's just by job, by their job. I don't know what
Yeah.
exactly if they if civilians are allowed to visit there. I think I know that biologists go to visit there. Since it's a protected island, I think not everyone is allowed to go there.
Yeah. Maybe you have to help with some kind of I don't know, ecological preservation or do something to do with the
Yes,
turtles if you want to go there. Oh, it looks
yes.
amazing. All right. Well, thanks guys for sharing that. Um, I'm going to give you another link, and this is to this apparently the five smallest countries in the world. I don't know if you've already looked at this, but can you guys have a guess as to which countries you think might be on the list? The five smallest countries.
New Zealand?
Yeah, but okay.
No. Any guesses?
I don't know,
Any other
Vatican?
guesses? Yeah. Okay,
Vatican, I
so
think.
Vatican. Actually, we call it Vatican City, which is a bit
Vatican City?
confusing. Yep. Any guesses, Emma, about other really tiny countries?
Vatican. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. It's still downloading. Actually, let me have a look, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's cheating, Emma. That's cheating. You have to
No,
you have to guess. Actually, the images are not
yeah,
loading on mine. I'm not sure why. Maybe I've got some kind of a cookie blocker. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do a screen share.
Monaco.
And we're going to read
Yeah,
about it. Raphael, you get 1
Monaco.
point because you already guessed Vatican City. Um,
Oh yeah.
so I'm going to scroll down. Emma, it's your turn to read. If you could read about Vatican City, just take your time and go for best pronunciation, okay?
Hmm. Vatican City. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Let me refresh it to read it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. 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 Needed to make it daylight.
Are you able to see it there, Emma?
Yes, I can see it, but I make it bigger to read it actually.
Okay,
Small.
let's see. How is
Like
that
the
better?
smallest countries, yes. Sorry?
Is that better font? Is the font size okay now?
Okay, I'm opening it on my side actually. Okay, so okay. What line should I start? The size of a golf course?
Yes. Maybe
Okay.
start from the very top. Read out this because this is kind of interesting. This information here: the size, the population, and the location.
Okay, the size of a golf course, the Vatican City wiki official website is the smallest country in the world. It's basically a walled in cave inside of Rome. Italy is so small that the entire country does not have a single street address. The Vatican City may be small, but it's very powerful. It's the sovereign territory of the Holy See, or the seat of the Catholic Church. Basically, it's a central government which has over 1 billion people, about 1 in 6 people on the planet, as constituents. Constituents. The Vatican City was created in 1929 by the Lateran Treaty, which was signed by one of the history's most repressive dictators, Benito Mussolini, and is ruled by the Pope, basically a non-hereditary hereditary elected monarch who rules with absolute authority. His legislative, executive, and judiciary all rolled into one. Indeed, the Pope is the only absolute monarch in Europe. Mm.
Can you keep reading, Emma, please?
Okay, another unique thing about the smallest country in the world is that it has no permanent citizens. Citizenship of the Vatican City is conferred upon those who work at the Vatican, as well as their spouses and children, and is revoked when they stop working there.
All
The
right. We'll just
Vatican.
pause for a moment.
uh,
Pause for a moment, Emma. We'll just go through this section just to check that we're understanding everything. And you've got some really tricky words, but you're doing really well. So let's have a look. This one
yeah.
here is enclave. Enclave.
Enclave.
Yes. We'll talk about the meanings in a moment, okay? This is constituents.
Constituents.
This is legislative.
Legislative.
And judiciary.
Judiciary.
Yes, but apart from that, really beautiful reading. I'm going to get you to carry on. Do you guys have any questions about any of these crazy words?
Yeah, actually, a lot of words here, as you said.
Okay, let's go through a few of them.
Enclave, yeah, enclave.
Oh, this one here, enclave.
Yeah, enclave.
Do you know what an enclave is, Raphael, by any chance?
I think it means it is located there or situated there. It's constructed there or something like that. You know, it's physically there.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Basically, an enclave is often used when we have an area inside another area. For example, within a city, there might be an enclave of people who are slightly different in some way from the rest of the people. So perhaps you could say Chinatown is an enclave of Chinese speaking people, perhaps, or it means that there's basically an area which is very distinctive within another larger area. That's all it means.
Hong Kong and China, for instance.
Pardon?
Hong Kong and China, for instance.
Well, Hong Kong isn't really an enclave because it's too large. It's sort of like a separate city. But within Hong Kong, there may be enclaves of, mainland Chinese people, some kind of a smaller, different group within a much larger group. I think in that case, Raphael, it's a bit more distinct because Hong Kong is like a separate territory. But yeah, you've got the right idea. I'm just thinking about your own cities. Like, Raphael, do you have any enclaves within Rio? Like, do you have maybe an area where lots of Greek people live, or I'm just imagining what it might be like.
Greek? No, we don't have Greeks here. I think we have people from different traces of Brazil, but
right.
I think they are spread. I think they are located in different points of the city. There is no enclave.
Okay.
There's no specific enclave. They are split, or they are in different points.
Alright, so they're all spread about. That's interesting because it seems to me that it tends to happen quite a bit. In Auckland, we certainly do have specific suburbs that have more of maybe one ethnic identity than others. And we have many, many, many different ones here, but there's certainly some areas which have a lot of, say, Japanese or Chinese people, and some areas that have a lot of Middle Eastern people, or that kind of thing. How about Egypt, Amma? What city do you live in? Do you live in a city?
Yes, exactly. Actually, I live in a small city called Amir in the north of Egypt. Yeah.
And would you say there are any enclaves in your city?
I don't think so.
Okay, so mostly just Egyptians living in your city.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. What about any other words, Amma or Raphael, that we didn't understand in this part?
Lecturer.
Yeah, I didn't understand this either, Raphael. It's just the name of the treaty. I'm going to look that up for you, okay? But I don't believe that it has any other particular meaning. It may be the name of somebody. All right. Any other words while I'm looking this up?
No,
Yes,
no.
they're named after a place, Raphael. They're named after a place called the Lateran Palace. So I'm not sure, but Lateran doesn't have any particular meaning in English. It just is a name, okay?
Okay.
How about you, Emma? Any other questions about any vocab?
So, what does repressive dictator here mean?
Ah, this one here, repressive.
Repressive
That,
dictator. Yes,
yep.
exactly.
Okay, Raphael, see if you can explain that one.
Repressive, I think it's a kind of tyrant, or how can I say, a bad dictator. Uh,
Bad. I
an
love
evil,
it. Great
an,
description.
an evil dictator or something like that.
Okay, great. Yes, that's the general idea. What does the verb to repress mean?
Uh, to hurt, to prejudice, to harm, to
Not quite. It has a really specific meaning. That's the only reason I'm talking about this, because you're right, it means a bad dictator. But to repress basically means that you prevent yourself or somebody else from expressing something. So if you repress your emotions, it means that you do not allow yourself to express your emotions. And so a repressive dictator means basically that somebody who does not allow their citizens to express themselves. Basically, he's in charge of everything. The more oppressive the dictator, the worse life is, basically, because you're not really allowed to do what you want. All right, so we're going to skip the rest of it on Vatican City. I just wondered, have either of you two ever been to Italy before?
Actually, I'd love to visit someday. How about you?
I have never been, and I really want to go too. How about you, Raphael?
yeah, me too.
Okay, destination of choice. I think Vatican City is a must-see because it also has lots of great heritage and stuff. An interesting place to go, I think. We're going to get to the next one, just so that we can do a bit more reading. Raphael, it's your turn. This is about Monaco. So let's read a little bit.
Monaco is the second smallest country on Earth. It's roughly the size of New York's Central Park. Yet, it's the most densely populated, 23,660 people per square kilometer. Actually, Monaco used to be much smaller than it's now. About 100 acres were reclaimed from the sea and added to its land size. At the narrowest, Monaco is only 382 yards wide. The Principality of Monaco, its formal name, means that the territory is led by a prince. For the last 7 centuries, it's ruled by a prince. For the last 7 centuries, Monaco was ruled by princes of the Grimaldi family from Genoa. The whole thing started one night in 1297, when Francois Grimaldi disguised himself as a monk and led by a small army to conquer the fortress guarding the Rock of Monaco. The coat of arms of the Grimaldi bears the image of monks with swords. Now, the prince shares legislative authority with the National Council. In 1861, Monaco relinquished half of its territory to France in exchange for cash and independence. When the reigning prince realized that most of Monaco's natural resources were the land that got battered away. He decided to bet the whole economy on what else? Gambling. See, casinos are only for American Indians. It's a time-tested, universal solution. Yeah, yes. And so began Monte Carlo, a region of Monaco well known for its glamorous casinos. A setting for young Fleming's first James Bond novel, Casino Royale, in its Formula One Grand Prix.
Thanks, Raphael. We'll read a bit more in a moment. But just to talk about this section for a second, did either of you two know anything about Monaco before you started reading this?
Well, it's a very famous city.
Yeah.
It's also very expensive. You need to be very rich to live there.
Yep.
About the Formula One race, it's very famous.
Famous, yeah.
And about the movies, several movies were filmed there.
Absolutely. Considering it's so tiny, it's kind of amazingly famous, wouldn't you say, for many things? Amma, did you know anything about Monaco? Did you know all of those things that Raphael just mentioned?
No, actually, it's new news for me.
Okay. I found it rather fascinating what's happened to it in its history. So how it began is kind of funny. And also the fact that it's given some of its territory to France, the rest of it's turned into a casino. It's kind of an interesting place. Any questions about any of the words that we just covered there, Raphael? That was perfect reading.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
We all fine on the vocabulary, guys? So I'm going to keep reading a little bit more. Okay, Raphael, off you go. You can carry on from in 1918 if you wouldn't mind.
In 1918, Monaco entered a treaty with France for military protection. The treaty, however, also stipulated that Monaco would lose its independence and become French. Should the reigning Grimaldi prince die without leaving a male heir, when Prince Rainier III took over, he was a bachelor and most Monegasques, that means people of Monaco, oh my, were gloomy about the country's future. However, he ended up marrying Hollywood actress Grace Kelly. The marriage not only produced a male heir, it also helped burnish Monaco's image as a glamorous place to be for the wealthy. Monaco can rest easy now. A new treaty with France stated that the principality would remain independent even without a male heir. For a long time, Monaco had no income taxes and was a tax haven from wealthy foreigners and international corporations. This caused a unique thing about Monaco's population. Most of its residents are not native. In fact, only about 1 in 5 people are native Monegasques. After a long dispute with France, Monaco started to impose income taxes on all of its residents who are not born there. Its natural citizens are forbidden from entering casinos. But to make up for it, they do not have to pay any income taxes.
All right, thanks, Raphael. This word here has a silent H. So it's actually pronounced like air, as in the air you breathe, the same pronunciation.
Air.
Yeah. I just want to say hi to Murad. Is that how you say your name?
Hello.
Hello, Murad. Welcome to the class.
Thanks. This job.
We're just reading about Monaco, or we've just read about Monaco, so we're just going to talk about it for a moment. Firstly, any questions, guys, about vocab? Meanings of words? Was everything clear?
Hair comes from heritage.
Air, Raphael. Air comes from, no, not from heritage. Air is actually a separate word that means, well, inherit is more like it. So if you're the heir, basically you inherit whatever is owned by your father or mother. So the heir to the throne is basically the person who is going to take the throne once the current king or queen dies.
Okay.
Is that clear? So basically, at the moment, we've got Queen Elizabeth, who's the Queen of the Great Britain, and when she dies, her son, the firstborn son, Prince Charles, will become king. He is the heir, followed by William, and then George. So we've actually got 4 heirs at the moment.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
Yes, exactly. So, what does glamorous mean here?
Glamorous.
As a glamorous palace. Place.
This is
As
a
a
great
glamorous.
word. This one here, Emma, yeah? Glamorous. Does
Glamorous.
anyone want to offer an explanation for the word glamorous? Murad, do you know what glamorous means?
No, I don't know.
Raphael?
Fancy.
Yeah. Fancy's a good one. Basically, yeah. Glamorous basically means, we actually often shorten it to glam as well. Exciting, attractive, fancy, something like that. Any other questions?
Okay, so should the reigning Grimaldi prince die?
Reigning Grimaldi Prince. Okay, so Grimaldi is the name of the family, okay? It's a name, Amma.
Yeah.
And reigning simply means that he is the king, or the prince, the person who is in charge. So the verb to reign basically means to be the king or queen of. And if he's the reigning, oh, here it says that he's a prince. He is currently on the throne. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So these are all words to do with royal families, obviously. Any other questions?
How can I pronounce? How is the right way to pronounce Monegascus? Monegascus.
Your guess is as good as mine, Raphael. I'm guessing it's Monegasques, but it looks a little bit French to me. So yeah, Monegasque, I'm guessing, but I actually don't know. Sorry, it's the first time that I've heard that word too. Sounds very, very exotic, doesn't it? As a nationality. Yeah. All right, so does Monaco sound like a destination that you guys would be interested in visiting or not?
If I won the lottery, maybe.
Only because you can't go gambling unless you've got enough money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'd love to. How about you?
How about you, Murad? Do you think you'd like to go to Monaco?
Yes, I would like to do.
All right, so gambling, is that
place.
something that you guys are interested in? For a bit of fun, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting place. Okay, I think we've got time for one more, and we actually have the photo this time. And this is Nauru. So let's scroll down. And Murad, since you've arrived, would you like to do some reading for us and read from here, please?
Only this?
No, I'll get you to read a little bit more. If you just start from there, I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay. Nauru is the world's smallest island nation. the smallest independent republic, and the only republic in the world without an official capital.
Keep going.
Okay. Nauru only has one significant source of income. Phosphates from thousands of years worth of guano or bird droppings. This proved to be both a boon and a bane for Nauri- Naurians. For a long time, its residents enjoyed a relatively high level of income as the country exported its phosphates like there is no tomorrow. The government employed 25% of Mauritians and lavished free medical care and schooling for its citizens. Most didn't take advantage of this offer. Only one-third of children went went on to secondary school. The adults didn't really work. Either office hours were flexible, and the most popular pastime was drinking beer and driving the 20-minute circuit around the island. For a while, Nauru was a paradise. For a brief moment in 1970, Naurans were even amongst the richest people on the planet. Not
Keep going, please. Just a bit more.
okay. What is that?
Nothing lasts
Nothing,
forever.
nothing lasts forever, and sure enough, now Nauru's phosphate reserves soon dried up and left 20%, no, 90% of the island as a barren, jagged mining wasteland. Wasteful investment, like buying houses only to leave them to rot, and gross incompetence by the government. Former president used to commander Air Nauru's planes for holidays, leaving paying customers stranded on the tarmac. Didn't help either.
Thank you very much. Murad, I'll get you to stop there, and Amma, I'll get you to finish if you wouldn't mind, as if that's not bad enough.
Okay. So now neurons are
No, this one here, please, Amma.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. As if that's not bad enough, Naro is also beset by obesity problem, decades of leisurely lifestyle and high consumption of alcohol and fatty foods have left as many as 9 out of 10 people overweight. Naro also has the world's highest level of type 2 diabetes. Over 40% of its population is affected. So now, Narwhals are poverty-stricken and fat, but they are trying to turn things around with no natural resources. In the 1990s, Nauru decided to become a tax haven and offer passports to foreign nationals for a fee. This attracted the wrong kind of money, but a lot of it. The Russian mafia funneled over $70 billion to the tiny island nation. Things got so bad that most big banks refused to handle transactions involving Naro because of money laundering problems. This led Naro to another extraordinary money-making scheme. It became a detention camp for people applying for asylum to Australia.
Thank you,
That's it.
boys. All right.
You're welcome.
Kind
Yeah.
of an interesting place, this one.
Yes,
Amma, so 2 words for you. This one here is decades. Decades.
decades. Yeah.
Yep. And this one here is a tax haven.
Tax haven. Yeah.
Perfect. And Murad, if you could just repeat a few words after me. This word here is phosphate.
Phosphate.
Yep. And then we had another one. I'm just going to try and find it. Just a minute. It's circuit. I don't know where this one is.
Now, Narrows.
Narrowings,
really
yeah.
hard.
It's a bit tricky, that's right. But don't worry too much about that because it's not a word that you're going to be having to use much. This one here is to commandeer. To commandeer.
Commandeer.
Yeah, and here we go. This is the other one I wanted.
What does it mean?
What does to commandeer mean? Does anyone know?
Sue?
Does it mean to manage?
Yeah, it means to take over, to take charge of. Take charge of. When you're not actually the lawful or rightful leader. So the planes were supposed to be scheduled to go to take people on holiday. I mean, to take people to different places, the paying customers. But the presidents used to take the planes over and go on holiday with them. And the passengers who had bought their flights were left stranded. So they weren't able to fly out because the planes had disappeared. It sounds like a pretty exciting place, doesn't it? This is the last word I just wanted you to go over there, Murad. This is circuit.
Circuit.
Yeah. All right, so Nauru is a bit of an unusual place. Has anyone ever heard of it before?
No.
I have because, well, it's in the Pacific and it's not far away from me. Yeah, I'm in New Zealand. And it's relatively near. But actually, I didn't know any of these things about it.
Yeah. How do you
It
feel
sounds
about
like
it?
a crazy place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know it.
It's there are a lot of islands in the Pacific that are very small. And if you guys want to keep reading, Tuvalu is another one, and this one has been on the news a lot in New Zealand because it has problems with rising sea levels. So basically, because of global warming, the sea levels are rising, and there are a few islands in the Pacific that are basically suffering and losing their country, literally losing their country, because the sea level's rising and taking away the small amount of land that they have. So if you're interested in that topic, it's worth looking up. It's quite just a light-hearted and a little bit entertaining, this article, so do feel free to finish reading by yourselves, guys. And if you have any questions about the vocab or meaning, just send me a message and I'll get back to you, either on Facebook or from my Verbling Teacher page. But well done to all of you. I'm sorry that we weren't able to talk to you, Jose, but I hope you still had an interesting lesson. Well done to all of you. It was great to have you in class today, and I hope to see you all again soon. So I will see you later.
Thank you.
Bye, Amy.
See you, Amy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you. Bye.